Welcome back to Cheddar.
All right, guys, as fears over the coronavirus grow, airlines are taking extra precautions to keep their passengers safe and healthy. For instance, United Airlines cleaning hard surfaces touched by passengers, which include galleys, tray tables, and window shades after each flight. A procedure first adopted after the 2014 Ebola outbreak. Now, aerospace industry disinfection systems provider Daimler wants to go even further. Daimler is offering the services of its germ-killing robot to help airlines prevent the coronavirus from spreading. Joining us now to discuss is Elliot Kreitenberg, who is the Daimler LLC president. Elliot, pleasure to have you here with us today. You've offered the use of the GermFalcon to LAX, SFO, San Francisco there, and JFK airports at no expense. Have they taken you up on the offer?
So we have disinfected planes that were inbound from China at LAX. And like you mentioned, the airlines have taken this enhanced protocol to disinfect the hard surfaces. I'd say the hard surfaces make up about 60% of the surfaces on the interior of an airplane, and the soft surfaces would be the other 40% of that. We have no problem with hard or soft surfaces. We disinfect all the surfaces. These off-the-shelf chemical disinfectants that you'll buy at the store, if you read the fine print, you need to leave them visibly wet for 4 minutes to actually kill viruses. And that's really what we're concerned about on airplanes. I've never used those products where you keep them visibly wet for 4 minutes. I'd be surprised if most people are.
So Elliot, talk to us more about GermFalcon and how it works.
So we're using ultraviolet C lights like they use in hospitals. And hospitals have been using these lights for decades because they work really well to kill viruses, bacteria, and superbugs. They're proven. There's a proven dosage published that is required to achieve a 99.9%, 99.99% reduction of all these viruses. And we know with our machines, it's very easy to achieve those dosages.
And so how long does it take for this process?
So on a narrow body airplane, we can be on and off in about 3 minutes, which is good if you're not dealing with some kind of outbreak or this isn't a high risk aircraft coming from one of these affected areas. But on a 777 from China, it took us about 45 minutes to get on and off.
Wow.
And deliver high doses. But these planes spend a lot of time on the ground. A lot of times the international aircrafts have to refuel. They don't have these quick turns like you do on quick trips.
Okay, so almost exclusively, it sounds like, Elliot, given the time constraints, this is for international flights, not domestic flights.
So this is an important tool for emergency response, and I really wish that we had this rolled out across the network of airlines prior to this, so then we would have been a little more prepared. But long term, this is our sites were primarily set on influenza, and the CDC reported last week that over 10,000 people have died from the flu in the United States this year, just from this flu season, and we're about halfway through. And that's really, the flu spreads by commercial airplane. Harvard did a study that shows passenger volume over the Christmas and Thanksgiving holiday really dictates the timing and severity of flu season.
So
and we're seeing that too.
For Daimler, what are some of the other solutions that you could take to other environments? I think about the office spaces as well, that companies are reluctant to put their employees back in if there is a risk of an infection being present there.
Yeah, so we have a few products, and we really started in airplanes. And by starting in airplanes, we realized there were some things that there were some advantages to the design that we made for airplanes. This GermFalcon machine is built specifically for an interior of an airplane. It fits like a puzzle piece in the cabin. But we adapted that design and built a new machine called the UVHammer for hospitals and hotels. It works on cruise ships. It'll work in classrooms. And that machine is very, very fast. It works very well. It uses the same principles of UVC that we used in the GermFalcon. And we're also working on a project with NASA to deal with sanitation and hygiene on the International Space Station.
Okay, well, we certainly want to hear about that, but just very quickly, cruise ships, we've also seen a few cases where cruise ships have had to stay docked. They cannot leave because there are passengers that have come down with the coronavirus, and they are fearful that the other passengers on the cruise liner may have also been exposed on that particular ship or vessel. Where have you offered the same solution that we're seeing being offered to airlines here in the U.S. Are you also working with some of the cruise ships?
So we have the same offer out to cruise lines who are dealing with this issue. We're based in Southern California, and we do not have units available in our inventory ready to deploy, but we do have units in-house in Southern California. To my knowledge, there are no ships locally here that are dealing with this coronavirus. But the thing about cruise ships is norovirus is pretty common on cruise ships. So there is some infrastructure on cruise ships to deal with these quarantines and these infection control strategies. I think that what we can do is enhance those protocols. And the interesting thing about cruise ships is most people actually get on an airplane after the cruise. And when these germs can have the ability to survive on airplane surfaces, we know that coronavirus in airplane environment, humidity, and temperature can survive as long as 28 days. When these people are getting on airplanes and going all over the place, it's really important that we are taking some enhanced hygiene measures to.
So, Elliot, how has the coronavirus impacted your business?
So it's really made airplane hygiene a pain point for the first time in several years, which is good for business, but we really want to do everything we can to help. It is putting us in the spotlight a little bit. It's giving us the opportunity to show airlines how these systems work and the advantages to having them in place. Part of the reason that airlines are having to cancel flights is because the passenger perception is that the airlines aren't doing a good job dealing with the environment on the airplane. And if we can change that perception, which we think we can with a full implementation of our devices throughout an airline's network, we think we'll be able to change the public perception, at least of that airline, if not the whole industry.
All right, Elliot Kreitenberg, Daimler president, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.